This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 7, Episode 34, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across social media. And I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Hogstein Network on audio and, of course, here on YouTube on video. All right, Matt. Well, Washington could have been a contender. They would have, could have, should have that game. Big house. Probably a little more Giants fans than Reds, Commanders fans, but it was a big time atmosphere. Sunday Night Football, nah, didn't win. Could have won. Maybe the officials screwed them. Maybe they blew it themselves. Anyway, you slice it up, they lost.
Rick, it's kind of hard to beat a team when you're playing against them and the referees. I'm not one to blame losses on officiating. I mean, look, the officials are humans. They're not, full-time employees of the NFL, which, that's a debate that's been going on for 25 years. But I will say this, all game long, it was calls against the Commanders that were just ridiculous. There was a holding on Lucas where it was a normal block. You see it every Sunday in the NFL. They called it holding. The 2-point conversion, stupid penalty, makes no sense. We're not even going to talk about the last two plays of the game. I mean, McLaurin checked with the official. The official said, scoot up. He checked with him again. He said, you're good. And as soon as he said, you're good, he had his hand on the flag. Like, come on, man. It don't get no more blatant than that. And I understand New York's the biggest market in the world. Goodell, I'm sure, wants those New York teams in the playoffs as bad as anybody for that TV money, but officials shouldn't be deciding games. That was a touchdown. They took a touchdown off the board, and then Curtis Samuel's wearing the defender as a cape, and they don't call PI. That game was just ridiculous. And look, did the Commanders deserve to win that game? No, but they didn't. They deserved to at least have a chance to win that game, which the officials took right out of their hands. Fumbles, turnovers don't win games. And we saw a lot of them last night with Heineke, some bad fumbles by Heineke. But yeah, it's hard to sit back and not think that game was rigged. And I hate feeling that way because I'm not one of these conspiracy theory peoples, but it's hard to look at that game and think otherwise. There were national broadcasters and writers all saying the same thing. I saw Wilbon, Matthew Berry, the NFL on Fox asked why there was no PI on their Twitter account. I mean, I know that's probably just some intern running a Twitter page, but come on, man. When national broadcasters are calling you out on national television over a play that happened, it's ridiculous.
Hey, it's late. It's cold. We all got to go home.
Yeah.
It's weird at times. I think even though those two were costly, I think they really lost the game in the very beginning.
Yeah.
They lost when you're on the 34 of the Giants and you don't want to kick a field goal because the wind is there. And, he later kicks a 51 down the other end. I looked at the goalpost. Yeah, there was a little bit of wind, but Joey Sly was last month's special teams player of the month, in the NFL. So
yeah, but then he turned around and missed a damn extra point.
And then he goes and does that. So,
I can understand Rivera wanting to go for it on there, but yeah, he was special teams player of the month. But then again, like I said, you missed, or you go for it on fourth down. You go down, you try to get to 2 points to catch up. They get a phantom flag on that one, which pushes them back, and then he misses a damn extra point. I mean, I hate to say it, I like Joey Sly, but he's not been reliable in situations like this.
Well, the punt, unfortunately, really, they wanted to pin him down inside the 5, and Trustway is the best at that. But they got like a 25-yard return, and it took it up. So basically, they netted 4 yards on that punt. I was like, wow. Okay, there's a chance to go up 3-0, get some momentum, take the shot at the field goal. If you miss, you miss. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then Heineke has the ball knocked out from him, and he didn't see it coming, but it gets knocked out and it goes for a Giants touchdown. They're up 7-3. I'm like, okay, you should have been up, 7-10 nothing yourself. Now you're down. That's a big change. I will say, I thought the coaching staff did a terrible job. Outside of Rio, hard to keep sitting and going, well, Del Rio was fine. Man, that's really the bar. The defense was fine. They only gave up 13 points. But two things. I didn't like Rivera's coaching on several levels, and I didn't like Scott Turner's play calling. And, Brian Robinson you're still in a one-score game for a while. You could have been using Brian Robinson more. The Curtis Samuel thing, it's not working anymore. 5 carries for 1 yard. They figured that one out. And I was like, get away from this. Go back to Gibson or Robinson. The play calling, I thought, stunk. I'm not ready to throw Scott Turner to the Wolves, but I can't say I'm particularly impressed after all this time.
I have 2 issues with this game as far as the offensive play calling goes. One, you're right about Curtis Samuel. They want to use him like Deebo Samuel. For one, you have the wrong Samuel. For two, your offensive line is not as good as San Francisco's. So, teams have sniffed out that when Curtis is going in motion, he's probably going to get the ball, but a good offensive line can create room and space for him to go for 10, 15, 20 yards like Deebo Samuel does. We don't have that offensive line. I don't know what the issue is between centers. I thought Schweitzer was a decent center, but he's a pretty good actor from what we saw last night, but he's not what we had with Lawson and the other, or Larson and anybody else aside from the other Martin. But my second coaching, the biggest gaffe that I'll never understand this. Look at the last drive. We had the 65-yarder to Dotson. Then Brian Robinson runs 10, 12, 15 yards and gets him in the goal to go position. Where's Brian Robinson after that? He's sitting on the sidelines. You bring in Gibson or you try to run Samuel. If you have a back that clearly gets better as the game goes on, he's a bruising back. The defense is getting worn down by this having to tackle this monster. Why do you pull him? Why? I understand he's a rookie. I understand he got shot in August and all that stuff. But when you ride the workhorse to get in the goal to go to position, why do you then pull him out? I'll never understand. And it's not just last night. It's happened many a games. I understand that you want to have this Gibson Robinson tandem and throw in Samuel for 3 or 4 runs a game. But in that position where you are under a minute to go and you're in a goal to go situation, the guy was dragging piles all night. You don't think he can't drag a pile into the end zone? We saw that he did on the McLaurin phantom infraction flag, whatever you want to call it. He drugged the whole damn pile in. That's my biggest head scratcher. And I understand if Scott has plays drawn up for Gibson and for Robinson, or I can understand if Robinson carried the ball 3, 4, 5 times consecutively that he may have needed a break, but no, he carried the ball 1 time. Let him slam it in.
As I've often said, teams outsmart themselves and often lose games versus winning games. I think that's what's happening with Scott. He's overthinking too much of what he has. And there was a point I was sitting there thinking, man, where's Dotson? Why aren't they using Dotson? And I swear, right after that, they caught him a couple times and he showed what he can do. You've got to do that more. And I know you only have 1 ball, but a couple of things. The tight end position has been a disaster, and Logan looked bad again. So, all right, we take away those plays. You take away these Samuels plays. There's more room for these receivers to make plays. And, Heineke had enough time last night overall to get what he needed done. So,
yeah, there was a play early on where the ball kind of sailed on Heineke a little bit, but, prior to the injury, that's a play that Logan goes up and gets for 10 or 15 yards, and he couldn't get up on it. Yeah, I agree with you with the tight ends. They need a playmaking tight end like Logan Thomas was the first year that he was here. They need, and look, you want to talk about the defense. I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed at all. Yeah, 13 points. You're playing Daniel Jones. The guy's a mediocre quarterback, and they had a banged up offensive line. The defense, to me, this defense really needs another linebacker. John Bostic ain't cutting it. Jamin Davis has come into his own, and I feel like he's kind of a hit now compared to what he was. but they need another playmaking linebacker. And look, just put Chase Young back on IR and end his damn season. I'm tired of this flirting with, oh, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Who cares? Let the guy, if he's not ready to go, if he doesn't feel right after practice, shut him down. Let him come back next year.
Yeah, I can see it. They're going to say, oh, he's going to play the season, and we'll get to the end of the season and go, well, it just didn't work out.
Right.
But, I mean, at some point, let's be honest about this. I don't know. What I worry about with Chase is sometimes I think he likes being a ball player more than he likes playing football.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just hard to say. I'm not calling him a bust because defensive rookies of the year are not a bust, but this is some bad luck that's happened to them. And I know we were talking about in the press box last night, they could have gone for this quarterback or that. I said, yeah, and they probably would have sucked here too. I mean, there's nothing to say that Justin Herbert would have done well here like his son there. You don't know. I mean, that's all woulda, coulda. But on quarterbacks, before we get out of here, I wrote a column for 106.7 The Fan at Odyssey.com. I write for. I said, it's time to go to Wentz. And it's not that he's any better, but playoff offense is what you got to start ramping up for. You've got to score more points. And he's a statue. And yes, he has his limitations. And no, I would not put Sam Howell against San Francisco. My God, what are you trying to kill the Rook? First game, here you go. No. But I think, Taylor's shown what he is. It's just not enough points. We can point to a lot of reasons why, but you need to change your gears and go to Wentz. I don't think Ron will do it this game, but we'll see. But you need more offense. You need more of the big strikes. Yeah, Taylor got a 61-yarder, but that's more on the receiver than it was on him because he tried several others and failed. I think you have to go to Wentz at some point here. And if you don't, well, this week's probably a loss with San Francisco. So then you got 2 games to try it, and you're asking him to come back after 2 months. It's a big ask. But I think that's what you have to do.
Let me ask you a question real quick. This was brought up to me by a friend of mine, and I want your opinion. Talking quarterbacks, do you let Deron Payne walk? Do you cut Carson Wentz in order to land Lamar Jackson?
2 separate things with the Deron one versus the quarterback.
I'm just saying you need money.
But you make your quarterback decision first, I think, because that's the bigger decision. And if you decide, and that will impact the other one. If you have the money, you go get Payne. I don't see Lamar Jackson coming here. I just don't.
I don't either, but I'm saying in a fantasy world, I mean, if we're playing Madden, don't you don't think Lamar would be tempted to come here with McLaurin, Dotson, Samuel, a running game? He can avoid look, the offensive line can be shaky. He can definitely outrun people.
I mean, I was saying we wouldn't want him. And I think it'll be a veteran who comes in versus how do you get your next starter? Well, it's probably a veteran because they're not going to be drafted high enough and on. But God, here they go again. It's an endless cycle in the cage. I don't know. All right, we're going to be back Thursday with another show. Our big Christmas extravaganza. I kind of wore a Christmas shirt, sort of. It's got some sort of red on it.
Christmas in Hawaii.
Yeah, I wish. So, as cold as it is. I'm Rick Snyder for Rick Snyder.
Matt.
And we'll see you on Thursday.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.